night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Mary Manor School of Childhood at 320 North 48th Street reminds listeners this winter season, please use caution, courtesy, and common sense when driving. And remember, save that text message for when you're not behind the wheel so you can keep our kids and community safe. This message is brought to you by Mary Manor School of Childhood in Lincoln, featuring the finest in early childhood education and care. Call 402-466-2215 or visit marymanor.org. Open for ages 6 weeks to 13 years with 70 plus years of experience.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Hold up.
Welcome to On the Block. Eric Strickland here alongside my partner in crime. No crime. But
not yet.
Partner in love,
yes,
Austin
sir.
Orman here. We are on the block 2 to 4 every day. You can find us here. We want to also thank our sponsors, Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. You can always go out there to 27th and Pine Lake and get a taste of that great soul food. The team of Charles and the crew do a wonderful job always. They're not open today, but tomorrow you can go out there and get it anytime. Anything you like, from ribs to spaghetti to catfish and all the succulent things and soulful yams. Oh, the yams are phenomenal. But we're going to get started today on the block. Austin, how are you doing today, my friend?
Strick, I'm great, man. Just, living the life, talking sports. I can't ask for anything much more than that.
Man, coming off the weekend, a lot of stuff in sports. XFL started. But I think we're going to start off today, man, getting into a little bit of Big Ten shoot-around. What do you think about that?
That's what we're calling it.
We're going to call it
we have kind of a grab bag of topics. We're just called a shoot-around.
Yeah, we're going to call it a shoot-around. Some of the topics we're going to talk about today will be Big Ten basketball. We have some thoughts on that. Talk about what the prospects of the Big Ten. We were going to love to discuss that with you as well on the Sutter Hammond text line 402-464-5685. We'll talk about the Big Ten. There's an expectation that they should get about 8 teams in. That's still up for debate, but we'll talk about how far do you think they'd be able to go. We're also going to talk a little bit about Michigan football. And the reason I want to talk about Michigan football, because we had one of our own ended up making and jumping in the transfer portal, Ernest Hausman. We'll get into that as well. And then that's what we'll start off with. But we're also talking about Northwestern and some of the commonalities and some of the unique things that they share with Husker basketball a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about those and ask your questions as well and see how you feel about our thoughts on that. So first, let's get off into it in Big Ten shoot-around, little hodgepodge of discussions. We'll be short on the debate, but as I said, 402-464-5685, Sutter Hammond text line. We'd love to hear from you guys. You guys are always great. Now, here we go. One of the questions that's surrounding Michigan football, Austin, is the approaching of spring practice. Spring practice is on its way. It's about to jump off soon. Yes, we have March Madness, but there is a huge anticipation as well for football. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I have a little bit of my mind just can't grasp it fully. Because when you look at this team, they're pretty deep in that position. So it didn't seem to make sense for me when Ernest Hausman, based on injuries, in the linebacker room for Nebraska, finds himself getting like about, I think, 57 tackles or something like that in the 50s. And he makes a shift and transfers to Michigan. And Michigan, yes, there's a thought that their linebacker room is probably the weakest part of their team, and it's definitely is. And part of that is because of their pass coverage. They were good at tackling, but they just really didn't do very well in pass coverage. So now heading into 2023, depth was a concern, but I don't think that's the case now because they recruited heavy in that position, but also they had some transfers that came in. They have Colson and Barrett that are now back. Nakai Hill-Green is healthy. He had some injuries. Jimmy Rolder, he came in late as a freshman. And then they add Ernest Hausman. So you have a very deep team at the linebacker position. So it didn't make sense to me why he would go. Is he betting on himself, Austin, do you think? Or is he just was he just wanted to be on a winning program? Or what do you think?
I could see either of those explanations. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the reason he left was that Barrett Ruud wasn't retained and you know how important relationships are. But when I look at Michigan and what's going on with them, Strick, they have a new linebacker coach and the guy that was his primary recruiter from Michigan, Mike McDonald, back to the NFL. Not with Michigan anymore.
Yeah.
So if it's about relationships, I can't say that it is, you know, in this situation. So to me, given that his coach at Nebraska is gone and the two guys he would have talked to in the recruiting process at Michigan are no longer with that program, it strikes me that it is probably about winning, that he wants to go someplace, you know, and experience that high level of success. Michigan, you know, the 2 years in a row in the college football playoff. Nebraska can't match that, plain and simple. Now, it's a little disappointing as a Nebraska kid who was the first commit in his class, did a lot of peer recruiting, that he wouldn't want to stick around and, you know, be that guy on the next Nebraska team. But Michigan doesn't really have a whole lot proven at linebacker. Junior Colson, someone I think a lot of people out there are excited about, but he's still raw, you know, as a sophomore. He does lead the team in tackles, only 6 for loss, 2 sacks. Athletically, he's probably there. How much does he grasp the scheme? Is he able to step in? And then Michael Barrett, who was second on the team in tackles with 72, 5 for loss, 3.5 of them for sacks and a couple picks. A fine player, but nothing, you know, absolutely elite. So maybe it's Ernest Hausman saying, okay, I saw what I could do at Nebraska. I want to see if I can do this, you know, on a similar stage, still the Big Ten stage, but elevate it. You're going to be playing in the East where it's Michigan, Ohio State. Can Penn State make a run? Does Michigan State bounce back? Whereas in the West, it's still just a jumbled mess. Strick, I don't know if you can trust anyone in the Big Ten West, and it's almost impossible to say that any of those games will have the same magnitude that they would in the East. So I hope that it's just Ernest Hausman wants to challenge himself at a little bit of a higher level than he thinks Nebraska could provide
for him.
On the text line, someone's saying it's called tampering, and it's exactly what Harbaugh did after the Michigan-Nebraska game. Maybe. Could be. I don't want to accuse anyone of that without knowing for sure.
Data.
Right. So I hope it wasn't that. I hope it was, just on the up and up, and Ernest Hausman wanted this change of scenery, but in this day and age of college football, I suppose you can't write tampering off.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's just something that was interesting. If give us your thoughts on it. What do you think about the loss of an Ernest Hausman? Does it matter? I know that they love his speed and they love the abilities, being that they did lack some areas as far as their coverage, and he can probably provide a little bit for that. Let's move over and continue to shoot around, and let's move over to Northwestern. Northwestern going into 2017, they ended up going to the NCAA tournament. Won 24 games that year. Things were looking on the up and up. They looked like that was their first time actually getting there. They ended up winning a game and making it really tough on a Gonzaga team that was favored hugely. A couple of nights later, they gave them a scare, beating Vanderbilt first, 24-win team, come in the next season at 19th ranked in the AP 25, find themselves dropping 7 of their final games, and then ended up with a 15-17 record. And so the outcome of that kind of left them a little bit you can understand a little bit, Austin, because of the fact that they were not playing in Welsh Ryan Arena due to renovations. They were not playing on campus. So, you can understand maybe that. Then that remnant team kind of moves on. They have a 19-loss season in 2018 and 19. Collins did something, and this is where I find the commonality. He does something where he recognizes he needs to push a reset button. And I think Fred Hoiberg, this is where Fred Hoiberg came to the same conclusion, a style that he wanted to play coming in. He has to reset. He has to let some of the coaches that he had great relationships with, closeness with, he had to let them go, bring in a new regime, change the culture. That reset happens. And Collins did the same, where he committed to youth. You have Bowie, Nance, Young, Chase Audige, Robbie Barron. Great experience. But then you have Nance depart, 6'10", stretch forward. He departs, makes his way to, I think he ends up going to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Young departs, and then you're left with just great guard play. And you come into the season, and then your AD does not give you. Same thing here, I'm sure. We're not going to say Trev did that, sat down with him, looked him in the eye, says, hey, you got to make it happen or you're out of here. I don't know that. We don't know that for sure, but we can kind of sense the commonality there. He says, takes his backcourt, they make an adjustment. Defense becomes their identity. Great guard play, probably two of the best guards in the conference right now, as you can say. And look what happens. They find themselves second in the conference.
They do. Again, it's maybe not all or nothing ultimatum, because Northwestern hasn't, been a basketball power. Not a lot of success to write home about for that basketball program. So you can respect Northwestern's AD for wanting to create a new standard, but Chris Collins has been fine. Not good, not a lot of good seasons. You get that first NCAA tournament win, but for Northwestern standards, Chris Collins has been generally fine. But this is where you credit the AD for saying, okay, something's got to change. What are you going to do? And what does he do? He keeps his two most important players around. Pete Nance was probably the best player last year. I think he can do the most and would get the most headlines. But again, we talked about it either late last week or earlier this week. What wins in college basketball? Old guards win basketball games. You have two of them around in Boo Buie and Chase Audige, who are guys that can go get their own shots on offense. They're willing to dish it off when they get in the paint, but they're also good defensively. And maybe not the toughest on-ball defenders, but they're opportunistic defenders. They go for the ball. They get their steals. Ty Berry is a guy that steps in. Robbie Barron feels like he's been around for 80 years. Again, a solid role player, and it's all coalescing. So credit, the AD for pushing his coach to make that change. Credit the coach for, keeping the important guys around, letting them grow together, develop into really a team. Not just a collection of players here for a year, but actually a team in Northwestern. And I think that work over the last 4 years is paying off.
Well, I mean, I just see the commonalities there. And I really do think that obviously with the loss of Griesel, who he's brought great senior leadership, Vandermill as well, tremendous on-ball defender. The key is going to be trying to find someone to fill that void on next year. Who is it going to be? Who's going to step in? There's going to be open opportunities for those in-house as well as probably in the transfer portal to be able to see what's out there for them in those positions, because that's going to be a key to running the ship. That if you can retain Keisei Tamanaga, you're going to have some of the aspects of what has been a tremendous run towards the late part of the season. And hopefully the losses, the things that Northwestern endured, throwing their younger guys into the fire and losing those close games and losing those down the stretch situations and games you probably should have won. And now you're gonna potentially look at a turnaround. And so that's where I see the commonality. What do you think? Do you think that Nebraska could make that leap? Do you think that they could find themselves in a similar situation with an open, pretty much Big Ten right now? And some of the big names are going to be leaving, and what's that going to mean for some of those programs? 3 Big Ten teams now are ranked in the top 20. You have Purdue at 5, Northwestern at 21, and Indiana at 17, but third in the conference. And my thing is, the pundits say that Big Ten may get 8. If they get 8, Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. I want to know from you, how many Big Ten teams do you think can get to the Sweet 16, if any? Who do you see? It's so crazy. I mean, Michigan looked like they're about to fall off the map again, 15-12 record, but they go and get a big one against Michigan State, which continues to create this huge hodgepodge in the middle of the conference. Purdue looked as if they were going to run away with it. Now it's only a game and a half up on Northwestern and only 2.5 up on the Hoosiers. And we talked about that one time on the block. That is it over for them? Did they already just land it? No, there's still games left.
Still there.
They've still got some work to do. So how many teams, Austin, do you think or do you perceive could be able to land in the Sweet 16 or beyond?
Purdue, I think, still can. Need the right matchup, need the guards to step up, but Purdue can. Northwestern has the guards. I think they've got a shot. Indiana, I'm not so sure about. Trace Jackson Davis has to be man among boys. Yeah. If he's the key for Indiana. I know that they have Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's really stepped up, but Trace Jackson Davis is the key. So
who gets in?
Since
you're saying really only two, well, basically.
I was talking my way through the standings.
Okay.
I still think Illinois has another level.
Really?
I still think they do. They might be this year's answer to last year's North Carolina.
So they're their sleeper.
They're dark horse.
Okay.
They've got to put it all together. They've got to prove it, but they're a sleeper to me. Maryland is going to get in, but they're not good away from home, so I wouldn't trust them to do anything.
Yeah.
Iowa still refuses to play defense. The offense is good, but not as elite as it has been, so I can't trust them. Rutgers has a tough formula, but again, I don't think their offensive ceiling is high enough that I trust them. They could. I don't know if I would predict it. Michigan, I'm out on. Michigan State has those guards in Hogard and Walker that are really good players. So I could see Tom Izzo working his magic to get them to the Sweet 16. And that's about it. So I'll say for sure, Purdue, Northwestern, I would give a chance. Illinois, Michigan State. So I'd give 4 teams a chance.
Okay. But who do you I see your chance, but who do you think really can make a run beyond the 16?
I can't tell you that unless I see matchup strict.
That is huge. I would say past the Sweet 16, I could see Purdue. I could see Purdue doing that. I still think the youth in their guard play, but I still think they're pretty solid, especially in the front court, to be able to do it. I love the guard play of Northwestern. I could see them breaking a barrier. Those are the two for me. My dark horse would be my dark horse would be Michigan if they can get in. If Michigan doesn't get in and like Michigan State's able to get in, I could see them, though, depending on who would get in. But for me, I don't even know if they get 8, but it's possible. It's possible when you have that many teams at above 500 record, who's going to end up ultimately there. There's still games left to be played, but I could see at least 6 of them getting in, maybe 2 getting past the Sweet 16. What do you think? What do you guys think? Do you feel that there's other teams that are going to be able to get the Sauter Heyman text line's always open to you?
We've got a couple.
Go ahead.
From the text line. Scott says Purdue and Rutgers as Sweet 16 teams. Mr. Unlimited said Northwestern is fraudulent. Use the F word. Use fraudulent. He said it. But he agrees with me and says Illinois has another gear they haven't consistently shown. Again, Illinois showed it early in the season. They had some drama there that they backed off of playing quite as well, but I still think there's another gear in Illinois too. And someone on the Twitch stream says only Purdue.
Yeah, I can normally say that. I think matchups are important too. So it's tough, but I would say barring any matchups, I can only see two. Just barring matchups, just throwing it out there in the wind, I can only see any given night. I can only see 2 Big Ten teams going. They just don't give me enough consistency across the board. And I just don't know. I just don't.
How much danger is Purdue in of falling off the one line?
I don't think they fall off the one line. I don't think, but I could be wrong. That's a good question. They could easily be. I think the team to keep your eye on again, man, it's got to be Kansas right now. The Kansas is just the one that's really just showing a little bit more moxie than anybody out there right now. I mean, there's really not anybody else I can look look around in the standings and feel confident about, the things that surprise me is the North Carolinas and the likes of them are going out. Who in the ACC? There's just a lot of discussion. We can't really get into it right now, but that is our Big Ten shoot-around for right now. Continue to hit us on the Sauter-Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. What's your thoughts? How you feel? How many do you think of Big Ten schools will be able to get beyond the Sweet 16, and who do you think they are? We'd love to hear from you from that. But we've got to take a break. What do we got coming up?
Emergency alert system.
We got emergency.
And Andy Markowski.
Andy Markowski will be joining us on the Honda Lincoln Hotline.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, long golf club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. Access everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation. They take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Breezy but mild today. We'll see a high of 54 under partly sunny skies. South winds could gust over 20 at times. Cloud cover tonight with a low of around 31. That is as warm as we get tomorrow. With temperatures, north winds gusting over 30 and areas of sleet and freezing drizzle. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and FM.com.
I bring heating, air, and electric is the call I make when I have a need for, whether it's for my home or office, if I repair to a heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal. I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action services we can visit actionlincoln.com.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week. Help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, guests.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Sauter-Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Sauter-Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Sauter-Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sauter-Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. For sure. Sauter-Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. Sauterheyman.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium premium cost of the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual planter clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 22nd and 23rd. Landmark's Planter Clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting season. Get a refresher before heading to the field on in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. Join us February 22nd and 23rd in Hastings. Learn more and RSVP at landmarkimp.com/events.
We have a Big 12 battle tonight here on the ticket as the number 23 Iowa State Cyclones travel down south to take on the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns. The last matchup between these two back on January 17th saw the Cyclones upset the Longhorns up in Ames 78-67. After starting the season 13-2, Iowa State has lost 7 of their last 11 games. Can the Cyclones sweep the Longhorns in the regular season, or will Texas get revenge? Tip-off is scheduled for 7:45 p.m., and you can hear all the action right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, yeah. You know what it is. We're back on the block. Joining us on the StreamYard, my guy, one of my favorite guys to drop dimes to. He has some hops too. Andy Markowski joining us on the StreamYard. What's going on, my man? Andy Markowski, it was so good to see you at the alumni event, man. You're still looking tall and handsome as ever, man. It was good to see you, brother. You know, even though I couldn't get you to take those shots for me, I was politicking back there to try to get you guys to take the shot for me, but it didn't work.
No, what's up, guys? What's up, Strick? Yeah, that was about the only negative of the weekend, Strick. I bet Chubbuck $50 that you'd make one of the 5. So you owe me a beverage or a steak.
Something, right? Yeah, that is one of the hardest things to do, man. Is when I hadn't shot over a year, and then you come in there and you throw that kind of range. I could still shoot 3-pointers, but good gosh, you said. Maybe in high school when I had legs, I could do it, but dang, I didn't have no legs and no lift, and it just did not work. But it's all good.
The worst part about it, you're too good of a dice roller. You should have just rolled 1. The pressure would have been off. So you brought your colleague skill to the dice game. I think that's what threw you off.
Absolutely, Andy, man, you're doing a wonderful job. You still at Pius, yeah?
Yeah, still helping the Pius girls, correct?
Yeah. So still coaching, still hanging around the game. Daughter is one of the mainstays here for Husker basketball for the women. And but I really want to get your thought on the men's side. You've been around for a while. You've watched, you've observed the program, you've seen coaches come and go. You've expressed a desire to see it get back to what we knew and what we saw it was and could be. So now at this point, man, now that you've got a chance to see the adversity, to watch this team, to watch Coach Hoiberg make adjustments, make changes, what do you think about this Husker team at the state it is, and where do you think it needs? What do you think they need in order to go forward and get back to some prominence?
Yeah, well, it's been a fun season to follow. I think last year the expectations were high and it was not a great product. They couldn't fit the pieces together, and give Fred credit to making some staff adjustments. I think helped. They've changed some of their defensive philosophies. Certainly brought in some pieces that have fit together, and I think the culture is a culture that has a little grit and a little toughness. I think you saw that yesterday, had a chance to maybe go away with some foul trouble and, injuries and they've hung in there. So I like what Fred has created. I think the culture, is sustainable. I think Coach Linzer has done a really good job with the defense. The thing that scares me the most is, he runs offense through kind of 2 unicorns. If you look at Griesel being a 6'7" point guard that can post a little bit, Fred has found some some NBA actions to give us some advantages there. And then Walker at 6, 8, or 9, able to put the ball to him in the middle of the floor, and is really effective not only as a passer, but as a playmaker and getting the ball to the rim. And then they kind of play off of that, right? K-State is benefiting from both of those players being able to get shots, but they're gone next year. So what is he able to maybe add? I think they really need just a go-to player to fit those ancillary pieces back around. So hopefully they're able to do that. I think the portal and the NIL gives them the ability to maybe go get a quick fix where, 5-10 years ago, that wasn't available to them. You either had to get a transfer that had to sit out, or a freshman, to have an impact at that level couldn't happen for most 18-year-olds. So, I do think there's some tools that they can to bring in next year or help them with that. But those are two big pieces they've got to find replacement for if they want to build on the momentum that they've created this season.
Real quick, Andy, this is kind of a two-parter. One, something that we haven't been able to see with this team is, or in teams past, is to understand who they were or what identity they had. One, do you think you've seen that now be emerged? Because when we were playing, just for example, when you came into the gym against us, you knew it was going to be we're going to run you either out of the gym, or you had to be on your swivel whenever we got the ball inbounds or on fast breaks. We're going to be physical, and we're going to defend the crap out of you. You knew those things with identity. Do you feel that they've now, with Fred Hoiberg's team, reestablished that? And you've also, the two-part, you've also got to play, as I have, with some dogs inside. Mikey Moore would body you. You were physical and met the challenge. Bruce Chubbuck was someone with that same energy. Vincent Hamilton was a quiet dog, but you had guys that had those physical attributes on the inside. That's tough to find. Do you think it's available, and you think that's an area that we need to go after?
Yeah, so from an identity standpoint, I'll give Fred credit. I think he came in and was big on tempo and pace of play and a lot of those analytics, and the Big Ten will grind that out of you. Like it is just sometimes it's a rock fight, and I think he figured that out a little bit and realized that maybe tempo wasn't a predictor for success in the league, and more toughness defensively, doing some of the hard things. And I do think we need to upgrade our inside talent. If you look at the league, it's a physical league. Rebounding matters. They've held up rebounding, and part of it was I thought Gary and Vandermill and Griesel are just long, positionally big, so that covered up for maybe our lack of size at the 4 and the 5. But if you're going to be in the top 6, 7 in this league, your front line needs to hold up. And the other thing I tell people all the time, Strick, when we played in the Big 8, we played 14 league games. There was winnable non-conference games, and then we went Big 12 and we played 16. They played 20 conference games, and that is a grind. And if you don't have 3, 4, 5 posts that to withstand injuries and just the grind of a 20-game conference season, I think that is finally we got Blaze Keita back, which I think helped us in the second half of being able to play two bigs a little bit. Fred kind of went offense, defense with Blaze. Having some versatility up front, having some depth up front, I think would help them moving forward. But to your point, they're hard to get. I mean, big. Everyone wants the best big guys in the country, but the opportunity to come in and play for Walker, should be an appealing sales pitch for maybe an NIL transfer kid out there looking to maybe come in and have an impact. You're 18 points and 10 rebounds and 6 assists and 35 minutes at the 5 spot. That should be pretty easy to sell to go out and try to convince somebody to come and help us out.
Andy, outside the locker room for this Nebraska men's team, a lot of the conversation is, hey, postseason's still on the table, whether that's, kind of miracle run to the NCAA tournament or more likely the NIT if everything breaks right. That's a good conversation for us to have. It's fun to think about. How do you in the locker room view that as motivation without getting too lost in the big picture and still taking it game by game?
Yeah, certainly postseason play in men's basketball is hard, right? I mean, the NIT is kind of frowned upon, but, it's trimmed back to 32 teams, right? So 96 total teams-ish make it to postseason out of 350 some, right? So, the fact that they're still playing for that, It should give them motivation. But I just think the culture of this team, they like playing, they like competing, they like each other. I don't think this team has won enough to look beyond the next game. I think winning is new to them. Hopefully, guys like Sam Hoiberg, it's hard. You win, you got a lot of people telling you how great you are. And, I'm sure on campus, people are now noticing him. How do you kind of reset each player and make sure that you get to your scouting report? And, it's a winnable game in Minnesota, but yet the gap between us winning and losing is pretty small, right? That margin's small. So, hopefully they can reset. If they want to play in the NIT, I think they probably have to win probably 3 more games, combination of 2 out of their last 3 and 1 in the Big Ten, or 1 of their next 3 and 2 in the Big Ten, some type of combination like that to have a chance. I've been pleasantly surprised. I'll give the staff credit. I'll give the players credit. They've overcome a lot of adversity, and they're playing their best basketball going into March, which is always a sign of a together team and a team that's getting coached.
On the women's side, I mean, your daughter has a breakout freshman year. How has she adjusted to, being higher on the scouting report? What have the coaches worked with her on, and how has she, handled that increase in attention and being one of the focal points of this team?
Yeah, it's certainly been different. Three-fourths of last season was probably off the radar a little bit in terms of scouts, and this year, if she's not 1A, she's 1B, and she's had to work a lot harder for her touches. The lane is a lot more crowded, so she's averaging close to the same amount of points, a little up in rebounds, but she's had to, she's having to be more creative, develop a little bit more post moves versus just overpowering people. And it's that we've had those conversations where she's like, Dad, every time I turn around, there's 1.5 or 2 bodies in the lane, and they haven't shot it as well this year, which part of the reason why she has more traffic is, they just are not helping her some games from the 3-point line. The games that they have shot it well, she's had more space and it has been more effective. But, that's Strick knows, man. It's, college is hard. She's really improved probably her conditioning. She's playing more minutes, not being in as much foul trouble, being able to guard ball screens more. Last year, teams put her in the ball screen all the time just because she did not recover well. So those are little things that maybe to the casual observer you're not noticing. Maybe you just look at stats, but there's a lot of areas that, just her time in the weight room and conditioning and scouting and film has allowed her to be a little bit more effective maybe on the defensive end. But they've had a good season. A couple of injuries I think have set them back from maybe what the expectations were at the start of the season. But there's still a lot of games left for them, and they could play their way back onto the bubble or maybe back into the tournament with a good run here to finish the season.
He's Andy Markowski. Andy, thank you for joining us on the block today, man. We hope to have you back, as we get into March Madness and kind of talk a little bit about that. Also, the state tournament is coming up. How do you guys look as far as yourself getting in and maybe making a run at the state tournament?
High school basketball is in full go, right? Districts are set, Strick, and Pius the 10th. We're 17-5. We got an 8. We're hosting A6. Class A is really good. There's 8, 9, 10 teams that could be in the state tournament. I think the field is pretty open. Millard South on paper is probably still the favorite, but they've lost a couple times this year. So at Pius we're pleased with where we're at. We like our district. It's teams that we have played, but this time of year you got to go play your best basketball. And if we win 2, we get to Lincoln, and for the smallest school in Class A as Pius, just getting to state is a great accomplishment, and that's kind of where we've set our goal. And once you get to the tournament, Strick, as anything can happen, right? So we're hoping to get there, and then we'll play it out and see how the season finishes.
Andy Markowski, former Husker, my teammate, my friend, thank you for joining us again on the block. We do hope to have you back soon, and we appreciate you. Good luck also in districts, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys down there at state real soon.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you guys having me. Thanks.
There he goes, Andy Markowski. Great stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Shootout with Strick as soon as we get back after this. I won a good one yesterday. It was tough, but I made a run at it even after bad shooting in the gym. But on the shootout, I shot the ball well. Come back. Somebody jump in. Call us on the Starter Heyman text line, and we'll join the Shootout with Strick next after this.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get back out. There's no need to golf. Double Eagle best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golf, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely Calvin.
Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. StarterHeyman.com.
It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual planter clinic at the Adams County Fairgrounds in Hastings, Nebraska, February 22nd and 23rd. Landmark's Planter Clinic offers expansive equipment training and important information on new and updated technology for this planting. Get a refresher before heading to the field on in-cab monitors, maintenance points, and options to increase your operations profits. Join us February 22nd and 23rd in Hastings. Learn more at RSVP at landmarkimp.com/events.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate time practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today to 466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
A new year means new and upgrading, but that doesn't apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just Mullen Motors.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. You can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour, an opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs in areas of There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Max Tan for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt tans. Take it to the max at Max Tan. Get a 30-day pass, just $25 with stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max Tan man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max Tan locations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Breeze but mild today. We'll see a high of 54 under partly sunny skies. South winds could gust over 20 at times. Increasing cloud cover tonight with a low of around 31. That is as warm as we get tomorrow. We'll see falling temperatures, north winds gusting over 30, and areas of sleet and drizzle. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time to shout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game.
That's right. $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line for you today. We've got state tournaments the next couple weeks, but then after that, we'll be down at Buffalo Wings and Rings for Thursday, Friday of March Madness, the opening of the tournament. So if you want your chance to win $15 and meet us down there, definitely get in on the shootout now, 402-464-5685. Well, Strick, the topic today on this Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday is athletes named Marty or Martin. That's the topic today. I thought that was pretty clever.
That's pretty. Hey, you know what? That's pretty deep. You know, if anybody can find it, Austin Orman's gonna find a topic that's gonna be suitable for Shootout with Strick. I love it. Let's get it.
We will hope Rico hears the phone ringing and get a caller on the line for a fun one.
But before we do that, there's somebody on the Starter Heyman text line.
Rico's on the phone. Rico's on the phone. We can say that this. I have too many thoughts on that topic. So, Brad and Baldwin, we do see you. We do see the conversation you want to have. Maybe we can leave the 3 o'clock hour off with that one because it plays into what we've been talking about. But right now, we go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline and we welcome in Curtis. Curtis, are you with us for the shootout here?
I am.
Excellent. Hold on the line here. We'll give Strick his questions first, and then you will get your chance. All right, Strick, round 1 of the shootout comes your way in 3, 2, and 1. He coached the Kansas City Chiefs for 10 seasons. Marty Scott or Marty Schottenheimer?
Schottenheimer.
Yep. She won 18 major singles titles. Martina Navratilova or Martina Novikova?
Navratilova.
Yep. He was the 1995 AL Rookie of the Year. Marty Cordova or Marty Cabello?
Cabello.
Nope, it was Cordova. He rushed for 14,000 career yards in the NFL. Mark Martin or Curtis Martin?
Curtis Martin.
Yep, and his first name is Martin. He won 3 Stanley Cups with the New Jersey Devils as their goalie.
10, 9,
Martin Brodeur.
Strick, what a pull. Well done.
That was it?
Martin Brodeur.
Oh,
Stricky.
I pulled that one, a rabbit out of the hat. Oh, Curtis, I pulled a rabbit out of the hat on that one, Curtis. I don't know where I pulled that one out of, but I shot it.
I would have got it.
I knew Strick didn't like hockey. I had to get a hockey in there. But Strick, you pulled it. A 5-point round. Curtis, you need 5 to tie. You need perfection to win. Your round of the shootout begins here in 3, 2, and 1. He coached the Detroit Lions for 2 seasons. Marty Mornhinweg or Marty McGee?
Mornhinweg.
Yep. He was a 4-time MLB All-Star. Ryan Martin or Russell Martin?
Russell.
Yep. He was the 1999-2000 Men's College Basketball Player of the Year. Kenyon Martin or Caleb Martin?
Kenyon Martin.
Yep. He was named to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1941. Marty Goldberg or Marty Friedman?
10.
Goldberg.
Nope, it was Friedman. His first name is Martin, and his number was the first retired by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
4, 3, 2.
No, you did not get it off in time. The answer, Martin St. Louis of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. Okay.
If you had 10 more seconds, you think you would have got it, Curtis?
Possibly. I used to watch a lot of hockey. Not so much recently.
Well, Curtis, thanks for playing. Hang up now. You can still win the $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Caller number 3 at 402-464-5685. Strick, the clutchest pull I think I've ever seen you have on this show.
Woo, I pulled that one out of the hat. I swear I did. That just came from the depths of mental. I don't even know. I can't even just say where I got that one from. That just came from anywhere.
Doesn't matter where you got it. What matters is that you did get it.
I was looking at your face. I was like, is he saying I got that one?
You got it. You nailed it.
That's awesome.
Pronunciation
Good
and all.
stuff.
So well done. You win tomorrow. Champs officially in the building.
Yes. No, I think I got it.
No. No. You got to win tomorrow.
All right.
You got to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
We still do have a couple minutes left in that hour. So why don't we hit Brad and Baldwin's topic, Strick? And I'll set it up for you first. What's up with Duke and North Carolina? How would you prescribe what's going on Tobacco Road?
Legends leave. There's been a change of the systems. Those systems are outside of what those coaches had to deal with in the past. You're now dealing with NIL situations. You're dealing with a different kind of young men now. You're dealing with probably parents in a whole different way. And, it was time. And they leave, legends leave, new guys come, and you have the same expectations, but they just may not do it the same way as the younger crew does. And I talk about parity. I just talk about there's so many other teams that have gotten better. When you have your Jason Tatum types, they leave and they're doing other types of leagues,
like scoring 55 points in all-star games, sort of
that's
thing.
freaking crazy, but yeah, they're doing other things and they're moving on, and now you've got to do it and build it a little different way. And if those systems aren't in place, then it's tough to keep together.
And it's not like either of these teams have, fallen completely off the map. They're just not their usual level of blue blood success. I mean, Carolina's still on the tournament bubble, probably outside looking in.
I think they're out. And here they have 0. They're 0-9 in quad ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they let them in, I mean, let's be real. Ooh, there's a possibility they're going to find a way to get that blue blood in. You know what I mean? Let's just be real about it. The committees may just try to find a way.
Here's something funny. At the same, I think this was just a couple days ago, from this season and last season, Carolina was in the exact same spot in the net on the exact same date.
That's crazy.
What they do last year made a run to the NCAA championship game. So it'll take a miracle. It'll take a run for them to do it this year because, again, no quad one wins is a tough way to make a living. You can't fully write them off yet. And I'll say this about Duke. I've been disappointed with their roster construction for a while. You got to get talent, but it seems like it's more oriented around talent than team in some ways.
And they've always been a team-oriented.
Right. The pieces haven't always fit. Haven't been nearly as good with perimeter shooting. And they've got a lot of interior guys or a lot of slashers, not a lot of shooting for them to kick it out to or make those guys' lives easier. Kind of like we heard Andy saying with the Nebraska women. You hit shots, it makes things easier for your inside guys too. But here's the thing. John Shire has won 20 games in his first season. First, Duke coach since the 1950s to win 20 games in his first season. Has the longest home winning streak to start a coaching career. Duke hasn't lost at home this year, which is still something. You got to go on the road and prove it. That's what the NCAA tournament is. But as a Duke fan, I'm not worried. Things are fine.
You're fine. Okay with what's going on,
especially in year one. Yep. That'll do it for hour one here on the block. We'll step aside when we come back. Rules are changing, Strick. Rules are changing in sports. College football's got some on the table. MLB's putting some new ones in. And what would you do with basketball, college and pro, to make the games better? We'll get into that discussion to start hour two of On the Block after this.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, but regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests such as the fecal immunochemical test, or FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use, with no prep needed, can be completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Now is the time to act and ensure that you take the quiz.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Break with Sip and Jake.
I just feel like people are not talking about enough the incomplete passing. This blows my mind.
Why does it blow your mind?
Because that's a strategy to the end of the game of either spiking the ball or, hey, find something to stop the clock.
Now you can't do it.
You can't just stop the clock. That's a part of football. It's always been a part of football.
Right.
You can't just
You're right.
changing end of games completely.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I don't think you have to stress that one too much. Don't even stress it. It won't happen.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here the Big Eight tournament champion.
Coming live from the heart of America, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Hold up.
Back on the block for the second hour. It's 3 p.m. here, Central Standard Time. We are on the block. Blockheads, what's up? What's popping? How you doing? Sauter Heyman text line for you is always open. Thank you for those who have shouted out, those who are also teasing me, those who are also celebrating me for a shootout. I appreciate you guys always and the wonderful conversations you spurn there on the Sauter Heyman text line. Also on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, we can always learn from you guys as well. We thank you guys for tapping in. But right now, in the second hour, we're going to talk a little bit about change. Changes are never easy. They're hard. Some don't like to make them, but sometimes they're necessary. So we're going to jump into a little bit of discussion, and we would love you guys to tap in on the discussion as well. Do you feel that change in the sports of MLB and the sports of college football? Some would like changes in the NBA, but change is necessary. I love the potential changes that would emerge out of what XFL is doing. that we could learn a lot from possibly as well. There's some changes to come there, but we're going to talk about it right now. College football is finding and looking for ways to make changes to make the games a little bit shorter. Austin, how do you view some of those changes that are being made in college football right now? The discussions that they're going on about them and they're going to implement, or do you think there's even more changes that can possibly be made in college football? And then we'll move over and talk about others, but let's start there.
So yeah, what are those changes in college football for those that don't know? The first one would be prohibiting consecutive timeouts. When do you see that? When you ice kickers, for the most part. So get rid of that. You only get the one timeout to ice them, and that's that. Okay, fine, makes sense. The next one would be you don't extend the first or third quarter for an untimed down, which would happen on a defensive penalty. You would play the down and it would be clocked just to start the next quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, sure, makes sense. Get through it, get the game moving on. That's fine.
Yeah.
Here are the two that I think are going to require more debate. The first one is make the clock more NFL style, because in college, the clock stops on a first down.
Right.
The new rule would be the clock keeps running on a first down until you get to the 2-minute warning, essentially.
Is that
of
each half?
Yes.
Okay. So not necessarily in the first, in the halves.
Yes. So the first 28 minutes of each half, the clock's going to run on first downs. But once you hit that 2-minute mark, the clock stops on first downs.
I like that.
It makes sense. A lot of the issue is, these players are playing so many plays. Let's run fewer to reduce the risk for injury. Make each play more important, put a higher value on, because if you're running fewer plays, each play just naturally becomes that much more important. But here's the thing, Strick. I think people want to see more college football, and more plays is fine.
Yeah.
These are college athletes in good shape. And we were kind of talking about this on Old School yesterday about the dunk competition and why aren't stars competing? If you're out on the field, there's a risk to get hurt, no matter how many plays you run. It could be this play, it could be the next play. Who knows? So to me, limiting plays, I don't want to say is, too short-sighted, but also with that risk for injury that's inherent in athletics, I don't think more plays is the issue. I think people want to see more plays because it's the action that they're tuning in to a game to watch. So I don't know if I love that proposal, but again, if college football is going to be the NFL's minor league system, such as it is, sure, make them play by the same rules with the clock. Here's the interesting one to me. The clock would continue to run after an incomplete pass once the ball gets spotted. So it goes dead once the ball hits the ground. The ref gets the ball, spots it, you keep going. Clock starts. I don't know about that one. My gut tells me, no, you can't do that. That's not football. You throw an incomplete pass, you spike the ball to stop the clock. But maybe that's fine. Maybe it makes it more like an NFL, 2-minute warning or 2-minute drill where you just got to go.
Got to pick up the pace.
Right. It'll encourage and reward those teams that are good at communicating. They're on the same page, that go in with a plan. It'd make it a little more hectic, a little more chaotic, and sometimes that can bring the quality of play down. But it's in those kind of scramble situations you get kind of that boomer bust, right? Something terrible is going to happen, or something really odd that you've never seen before.
Yeah, there's nothing like speeding somebody up, right? One of the things that you want to do in basketball is get a team to speed up, to get outside of a comfort zone. It creates lack of comfort, I think.
Throw the rhythm off.
It throws rhythm off, and I think that's something that's possible. Let me throw this out here. Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Let me throw this out here. Let me throw it to you. You ready? You sure? This is your shootout.
I'm ready for
This is your shootout.
Here's the target.
So check this out. I've been watching XFL a little bit. I love some aspects of it that just it's intriguing to me. The 3-point play. Put the ball on the 15, the 10. Is it the 10? Put it on the 10. Yo, if I'm behind and I'm in trouble, how can I figure out ways? Because really, the game is based on limiting possessions. The more possessions that you have, the more that you can limit the others from having, which gives them less opportunity to score unless they're just a big play scoring type of team, right? But I like the 4th down and 15 if I'm down. So if I'm down 21 points, if I do a 4th instead of an onside kick, If I can do something like that and land an opportunity to secure the ball again, to get a run and get back into it, do you think that is something that could be implemented to make the game a little bit more interesting? Would you like to see it more if you saw it? Would you like to see it in college? Or do you think the NFL would be a place to do it? What's your thought?
I think it's fun. I mean, onside kicks are fun when they work,
The
but
numbers
they
just
just work
yeah.
so rarely. And like you said, the math just doesn't match up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Hail Mary if that.
Yeah.
So I think the 4th and 15 would add some more excitement. You know, make the defensive team earn getting the ball back because they just gave up
And
a
you
touchdown.
get it, and you get it back where
if you get the stop.
Yeah, you get it down there, so you're gonna get field position. Say lock down, get field position. You can either blow the game open or let them back in. Go ahead.
But it makes the defense earn it, right?
Yeah.
An onside kick, you have a 90
Yeah,
plus
yeah,
percent
yeah.
chance of recovering, 95 probably. Make him get off the field. The offense just went down and scored a touchdown. Okay, you didn't get off the field. Here's a chance to do it. If you're not going to get yourself off the field, that's huge for the offense, right? They keep their roll going. They just converted 15 yards in one play. Not nearly as rare with the way teams are throwing the ball, but still, 4th and 15, you get one shot at it. Have the perfect play call. Have to have so much go right in that situation. So it's a boost for the offense. I think it rewards the defense for getting that stop. Like, okay, you didn't stop him last drive, but you found something. The odds were in your favor at this point, but again, the offense just scored. They were on a little bit of a roll, so you found a way to get off the field. I'm totally in favor of that. I think it'd be fun.
Sutter Heyman text line, please, if I'm not saying this right, I think it's Shaney, Shaney or Shanny. He says the XFL has the same rule except the clock runs on an incomplete pass inside the 2-minute warning. But the one he says, I agree with you. Shaney, for a change, I actually do agree with you as well. Make it a little bit tougher. I would say 4th and 20 or 4th and 25 also.
25 seems a little too low.
I think that's why I say maybe 4th and 20. I think 4th and 20 even is pretty difficult because
17?
if you think about it, yeah, I think somewhere in between there because 4th and 15 is not, it's difficult because, you know, especially if you got pass rush and you've got guys that can play in quarters or you got guys that can, you know, get in depth. It's only a certain type of plays and it's kind of got to be a perfect play for coverage that makes a 4th and 15, you know, makeable. Right. So I don't know if it's easy, but I think, yeah, I can say between 4th and 15 and 4th and 20, I can see that. But I do think you should make it probably a little bit more difficult than that if you're talking about an opportunity.
Right. Jesse on the Starter Heyman text line says, why do we have to make rule changes just to say we changed the rules? I don't think there's anything wrong with the pace of the game the way it is. Most teams are running hurry-up offenses to get more plays, not slowing down to run less for safety. And Jesse, here's the thing. You're onto something, and that's why any of these rule changes are fine. They're different. Okay, whatever. I can take them or leave them, most of them. But the real issue is that you get 3 minutes of commercials every time you go to commercial, 2.5, 3 minutes. And that only gets worse as the season goes on. Cut commercial breaks down, you know, or cut the number of them. That's never going to happen because, again, it's all about the money. It's not about the game itself. Yeah. But I would love if, you know, companies could find a way to reduce the number of breaks and just charge more for the individual commercials to make that same money back, to spend the same, but in a different way. I know that's not going to happen, but I think for the consumers, those of us who watch the games and want it to be about the game, the rule changes, take or leave, fine, whatever, do or don't, I don't care. But I think we can all agree that commercial breaks are too long, and that's really what's slowing college football games down more than anything.
Well, that's what Oak Valley Husker has to say. Oak Valley Husker on the Sutter Heyman text line says the games won't be shorter. He kind of speaking to what you're saying. They'll just add more commercials, and I vote more football than commercials. So yeah, I mean that's a way to look at it as well.
That's what it comes down to. Cornsash is saying they'll shorten the game and lengthen commercials. That's the worry.
Yeah.
And again,
yeah.
In
there's always a give and take to it, right?
There is. The little picture says, oh yeah, we have to, you know, maximize our revenue by adding more commercials, add longer breaks, charge more for them. And okay, yes, I get that. I'm sure it's making a money or they wouldn't do it. But I also think that there's an aspect that a lot of these suits miss. And that's what's the best way to grow our game and, you know, keep people interested. make it about the game, make the games compelling, make people want to tune in for them. So yes, you'll make money off of commercials, but it doesn't seem like anyone is looking out for the fan and the fan experience, or at least not to the degree that they should be.
Let's move over and talk about MLB. Austin, what are some of your thoughts about the MLB changes that are out there?
Which change do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, because there are some changes out there, and let me see here. Some of the changes in MLB. I got them. I just had them right here. Gosh darn it. Like for example, base stealing. So they enlarge the base a little bit, and they're limiting pitching to only 2 step offs or 2.
What they're calling disengagement.
Yeah, some form of disengagement, whether it's pickoff play or whatever the place is, or whatever they attempt to do. They're saying base stealing is up.
The only way base stealing goes up, though, is if more guys get on base. I know everyone values on base percentage a lot more than batting average here, and that's not the point I'm trying to make, so don't jump down my throat yet. But I still feel like we're in kind of a boom or bust era of baseball where there's not as much emphasis on hitting those singles. So I think the increase in base stealing will come not because the bases are bigger and maybe a little bit because of the number of disengagements, but to me, banning the shift, right? Get more guys that can slap a single the other way, get on base, let them run. Those are the guys that are going to steal your bases. Yeah, sure. You'll have your sluggers who are up there, trying to pull everything, hit 35, 40 homers a year. And you need guys like that in baseball, but shortening the distance between the bases by adding bigger bases, limiting the number of pickoffs attempts, or like you said, disengagements where you can't step off every time you get your signs mixed up. You have to be selective about when you throw over. To me, Strick, what that does is it at least opens the door to diversify the play styles in baseball. It makes more types of players, more archetypes valuable potentially. And that's good for the game because you need players of all different, shapes, sizes, and skill sets to appeal to the widest variety of, an audience possible, appeal to young kids that, grow up differently, that look differently, that have different skills. If they can see someone doing what they do well on the major league level, instead of seeing someone that doesn't look like them in body type succeeding, if they think there's only that body type, that's not good for the game.
Yeah. And so what we found is, the average team stolen base totals of, was 83. John Birdie led all baseball with only 41. So there hasn't been a 50 stolen base season from any player in the majors since 2017. So
you know who that was? I think that was Whit Merrifield.
Was it Merrifield?
I'm pretty sure it was Whit Merrifield.
So that's something that they're trying to clear. Another problem has been the change that they made in the first year of universal DHing. The batting average of all hitters across major leagues sank to 243.
Oh, I was wrong. It was D. Gordon.
It was D. Gordon.
60. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so that's crazy. That's the lowest league-wide batting average since 1968. So
that's when they lowered the mound. Not long after that.
Yeah. So so sometimes changes are good. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make it better. But I think the shift changes, I actually like that. I like the shift change. I think it's just gotten egregious. But that's scouting though. This is what a guy does. This is how we get him out. Learn to hit the opposite way. There was just so much. Just wait a little bit longer for that ball. But if you're a home run hitter, that's a way to take away from the strength of a particular batter, is to get him to wait a little bit longer. You're going to pitch him. So now pitchers are throwing him tight. They're throwing him inside. They're throwing sliders. They're getting him to basically bite on pulling that ball. They're not giving them fastballs on the outside corner, because then that's an easy way to wait for it to go and just take it opposite. But so that I like that. I like that.
Again, you're getting paid how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, how many millions of dollars, and you can't hit the ball the other way. I don't think it's that they can't. They have that skill. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They're not incentivized to. And that's why, like you said, you can't blame the teams for the shift.
Yeah.
They're doing what was smart. They were allowed to. They played the numbers, and more often than not, it worked out for them. And so when it gets as out of control as it's been, that's when the league does have to step in. And this is where, Strick, I want to kind of turn this conversation around to you a little bit. Baseball is making these changes to boost offense, right, to make the game more exciting. Our big problem with the NBA has been that there's almost too many points. It's harder to play defense. On the NBA front, it seems like it's gone too far to take defense out of defenders' hands. And again, some of that is the offensive players are just so
some
good.
of these calls are just like, come on, bro.
But how do you legislate defense back into the game in a way that there's still enough scoring, but enough that you can actually play legit defense?
That's a tough one. I need help. I need a tag. Sauter Heyman text line. I really don't. I really don't know. And that's what's scary about it. It's just, look, I think you did something. You made a change that didn't change. The viewerships is lower now than when it was in my time, because people actually let's be honest about football. People actually are getting more frustrated about you putting a hit on a quarterback, and you're getting these freaking roughing the passer penalties, and you're like, what? Now, people are getting frustrated. I get frustrated on some of the interference calls, and a guy makes a good hit, and you're like, what do you expect him to do? What do you want him to do? The guy he's doing the best he can. I get frustrated on that. And I think people understand that defense wins championships. You can still track it and know that offensive-minded only teams don't normally win. You got to look at their defensive ratings as well. Those in the top 5, 7, 10, they're usually the ones that are still there. And viewership was still up at that time when you had those staunch defensive teams like the New York Knicks and Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks. I had to throw that out there because I was a part of that. But no, but it was good because the San Antonio Spurs, and it was fun, I think, for me to watch. It made it more interesting to me because usually your skill had to increase because they say better offense, whether it be in football, whatever sport you say, better offense will normally beat strong defense. So there's nights where guys are just on, and that's the way I feel about it, man. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like those changes, and I don't know if there's a way for the NBA to make it better.
On to college then. Someone on the text line, see if I can find it here. For college basketball says the men's game has to go to quarters. Do you agree?
Why?
To reset the fouls, so you don't get into the bonus for 16 minutes at a time. You got to get your 5, I think it is, to get to the bonus, and then you're in it from
each
there.
quarter.
So yeah, to reset the fouls. And here's the thing, Strick, it's the last group that's still playing halves. Every other league has gone to quarters. I don't know if that's a reason to change, but if everyone else has, why is college basketball holding out?
It's a way of creating difference. It's just a visual point of a way of creating a difference, making this league different than that league. I, as a referee, the females game is, the mechanics are just like the NBA. So college basketball and the NCAA and the powers that be always like to create something that they hate to be called the sister to the NBA. They want to be called their own entity. So that's where I think it probably won't change, because they don't want to look nothing like the NBA. They want to try to differentiate themselves.
Even if it's better for the players?
I don't see a problem with it, but it's that kind of ego thing, to them. And, they feel like March Madness in March is the culmination of the greatest part of basketball, to include the NBA. They think they're better. They actually, for real, that's an ego thing. They actually feel that we're better than the NBA because that's what it seems to me. And that's where I think it's going to be tough for them to change. But I agree. I don't see a problem with it. I'd like to reset.
2 more to pick your brain about. This one from Brad, back to the NBA. Call travels. Is it as egregious as Brad thinks it is?
It is the most egregious thing. That's why I'm glad I did not make it in G League refereeing and progress. I couldn't do it. I'm a purist. I'm like, look, I had to make. Now there were some sneaky ways that I used to get away with traveling.
Well, yeah, but you were allowed to.
But no, they called traveling in our time. Yeah, you weren't around, but yeah.
No, I wasn't. You're right.
No, they call. There was just sneaky little tricks that you can do. Like, for example, if I caught the ball and I knew my pivot foot was established, I would just wait a few seconds and I'd put my feet together and I would switch pivot feet. Right? So there's just little subtleties, right? Because they're really not watching for that, but you could do stuff like that, right? But you go and watch some of the YouTube videos, the 3, the 4, the 5. I remember the one where Russell Westbrook caught the ball and like walked for 8 steps before he took a drill. I'm like, what are you guys watching? It's crazy to me. The shuffling of the feet, the super Euros, the James Harden 5-step, the achy bake breaky. Listen, man, that blows my mind. Yeah, I'm with them on that. Call that stuff. That makes the game just like, come on, man.
It's such a basic basketball thing.
It's an advantage. Now, look, you can go and watch Luka Doncic's tape. They killed Allen Iverson, and it wasn't always a carry, but they took it away from him. An advantage. You go and watch Luka. You could probably look it up on YouTube. Look at Luka Doncic. He carries every time he has the ball in his post moves. He hooks it, dribble bounce, hooks it. He uses it as a huge advantage.
Okay, so we have a baseball here in studio, not a basketball. Where's the point of the ball that you're underneath the ball, and where do you have it for like a hesitation dribble?
So a hesitation dribble is if you have it and you have it to the side.
Right. Like at what point there do you get underneath versus on the side?
As long as if it pauses, like if you can have it on the side with a slight pause, but you can't hold it because it's going to fall.
Right.
But if you have it down here, you get that little extra pause, and that on a crossover, that little extra pause with the ball just kind of underneath your hand, you're able to watch what the defense does. And that's the advantage you're able to gain. So if you take that step and you've got your hand in there underneath it and they shift, then you can yank it and then you're at an advantage. That's why they tried to take it away, but boy, Luka Doncic gets away with it like more than I've ever seen.
A lot of carries and the 6-step step back.
Oh,
I don't understand. Like, I get that you pick it up and you get your 1-2 after that, but they'll pick it up 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
The James Harden super.
Yes.
Yeah, man. He killed the game. And then here's the crazy thing. That's where you get trickle down effect, because it goes down to these young AAU players, and then they would get mad when we're calling it. And I'm like, you're traveling, young fella. Now, guys have gotten better because if you let the ball stay in the air, you're good. Because if you have it in your hand and you step off, that's traveling in by rule in high school and college. But if you leave it in the air, step off, then retrieve it, you're good.
You don't have possession.
Yeah, you don't have that possession. So, some guys didn't know how to call it. Some guys let people get away with it, and now they're letting them get away with it a lot more. And it's just, yeah.
Last thing for you before we hit our first break here of the hour, the shot clock for high school basketball.
Love it.
It's in Class A.
Finally.
It looks like it's coming to Class B.
Need it.
Does it stop there? Do you think it needs to go down to Class C? Leave it at A and B?
I think because then it gets into finances.
It does.
So I think the lower you go down the spectrum, you're talking about finances.
Money.
That makes it difficult for them to be able to do it.
If you could fund it, you would have it across the state. But
of
if you can't
course.
fund it, stop it at B, stop it at C1.
Of course. Probably no more than C1 if you're going to do it. But needed. Definitely needed, because it was just a crazy advantage. It was super Princeton. Everybody was super Princeton out there holding the ball. If you get a little lead against a top tier, Class A team, you would hold that ball and then you would end up getting frustrated and fouling I hated it. Oh gosh, I hated it.
It was just a couple weeks ago, Strick, we saw a 4-2 game in Oklahoma. 4-2, not for a quarter, an entire game ended 4-2.
Yeah, that's an atrocity. And then you're talking at top tier class level. That's atrocity.
Shouldn't happen.
It should not happen, but it does, and it has, and we've seen it. Is that a record? Is that a nationwide record? I'd love to know. Tell me. 402-464-5685. Is that a nationwide? But we've got to take a break right now, unfortunately. Great discussion. Thank you guys again on the Sutter Heyman text line. We are on the block, 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. And you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, but regular screening can reduce colon cancer deaths by 50%. At-home screening tests such as the fecal immunochemical test, or FIT, can help identify precancerous polyps and prevent colon cancer. FIT is easy to use, with no prep needed, can be completed in the privacy of your own home, and are often free to order from your local county health department. Take a health quiz to know if you are at risk of developing colon cancer. Now is the time to act and ensure that you take the quiz.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett. The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Continuing right along here, hour 2 on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you, as we are every weekday from 2 to 4 here on 93.7 The Ticket. Strick, I thought of one more rule change during the break that I want to run past you. Goaltending. Would it help defenses? Would it improve the NBA game if it went to the international goaltending rule where you can grab the ball off the rim?
Love it. I don't see a problem with it. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. One thing that I think would be pretty dope. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe in the playoffs, or maybe you do this during the All-Star break, or maybe you do this during the make this for the group that is outside of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You make you create an Elam ending.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The ones the play-in,
yeah.
the play-in guy, the teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have some Elam endings. Yeah, I think it'd make it pretty interesting.
I'm on board with that.
You know, it would shorten the game.
Mm-hmm. Make you actually hit a bucket to win the game.
Yeah.
No,
that's just something to throw out there.
Absolutely. Okay, so I was reading The Athletic today, I think it was today, and I saw this article, just a survey of players at All-Star Weekend, just kind of a grab bag of questions. So as this relates to your playing days, Strick, answer these, back when you were playing. Who was the best trash talker in the NBA that you played with and against?
I would say against would be Gary Payton.
Not shocking.
1B, Reggie Miller. With Reggie Miller.
Sure.
I also would say Antoine Walker. Well, that I played with. Antoine Walker was really one of those type of guys. Paul was subtle, but he did it to certain people depending on, how he wanted to get. Yeah.
Who were those targets?
LeBron was one. Kobe was one. Yeah, I think those were two of his main ones. Maybe a little bit of Ray Allen, but they're definitely Kobe and LeBron when LeBron first came in. Yes, sir.
What makes a good trash
Al
talker?
Harrington.
Al Harrington too. Okay.
Yeah, there was a game when I was playing with the Indiana Pacers, and you can find this on YouTube if you guys want to take time. But Paul, I had played with Boston, so I was now with Indiana. It's a playoff game. It's late. To win, like it's tight. Paul Pierce has the ball in isolation, late clock. I go over to take him because, playing him against Kansas, playing with him, I kind of know some of the things that Paul likes to do and likes to get to, so I'm like, okay, let me get him, to try to at least make this thing tough for him. And Al Harrington literally shoves me out of the way. He's like, no, get out, I got him. And then he sits down, slaps the floor, stretches his hands out, and he starts talking to Paul. And Paul's like, nah, yeah, I'm about to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you right here. I'm going to hit you in your eye. Then they talking, and the refs are trying to get him to shut up. And Paul literally eyeball sandwiches him.
Oh, no. Al.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, better him than me.
It wouldn't happen if it was you on him.
He might, man. That's what I'm saying. Good offense sometimes Paul was efficient. I would say to me, Paul Pierce is one of the most efficient scorers that I've ever played with or against. He didn't look like he could get to where but he could get to where he wanted to get to, and he didn't matter if you were there. Guys like Ray Allen, you had to be there on catch because he if he catches it, you're late.
Too late. Yeah.
Reggie's the same. Those type of guys, you let them catch, you're late. So you got to be there on catch with certain guys like that. And then I just hated chasing guys like Rip Hamilton. They just freaking ran forever, bro. It's like I knew I had to get sleep that night. You know, guys like that, just those Energizer Bunny type cats. Sheesh. Yeah.
Bill and Ben on the text line. How did you keep from punching Reggie Miller in the face?
I would just be just as sneaky and dirty as he was.
Mm.
So like, you know, I had defensive tricks of the game. I knew how, if I had my hand on them, to just pull them just enough to keep them from running, but not to look like a holding.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to do different things with, you know, kind of sliding down their body to keep them from elevating before they shoot, you know, just little subtleties, you know, little elbow taps that I could, you know, do, knowing where the defense or knowing where the official was, that he's not going to be able to see this one, you know, and I could hit him and kind of go up and it would be good enough. Yeah. I just had little tricks, and I would do holding tricks with Reggie. And it would make him quite mad. He'd try to push me off and do different things like that because he was good.
What makes a good trash talker? Because I think they're different types, right? Like Kevin Garnett's going to be loud in your face about it. The guy that got voted first in this survey from The Athletic was Patrick Beverly, who will talk, but he strikes me more as an instigator, kind of a nitpicker. Is that just a personality
He's like a
thing?
gnat. He's like the gnat that when you're walking and they're freaking just flying all around your face. That's Patrick Beverly. You know, Gary Payton was a freaking big time. Like, I remember my rookie year playing Gary Payton, and I was working him over my rookie year. Actually, I think I scored like 28.
Woo.
And
that glove don't fit.
And I was playing great D on him too. And one time I smacked the ball, you know, like I know Gary's move. Gary likes to go middle and then spin back right. He's very similar to Latrell Sprewell, right? They like to go hard middle and they strong step back and real strong with their left. And I knew it. He did it. I swiped, hit the ball. He loses it and then kind of recovers it and makes a bull crap shot, right? and so I just worked him over down on the other end, gave him a bucket, and I said, good shot, good shot. He said, yeah, I know it was a good shot. And he cursed, you know, I know it was a good shot, MFer, you know? and I said, yeah, that's why I'm giving you 30 tonight, you know, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he says, shut up, rookie. He said, my wife makes more than you. There was no lie. I was on a rookie contract.
You can't come back from that.
What could I say? You're absolutely right, Gary. Your wife probably was making more than me at that time.
Thank you, Mr. Glove. Here's 2 more.
Yeah, that's all I could do.
That's awesome. Should the NBA go back to a 5-game series in the first round?
Why not? I think it makes it more interesting. Mm-hmm. It's more impactful. But guess what? They're not going to, because it's money.
Right.
2 extra games in the playoffs is money.
Mm-hmm.
So those teams are going to want that extra game that they're going to be able to get potential.
Most of them go 5 anyways. At this point, you don't see a lot of sweeps, but even this, the potential for 7, I don't think the NBA wants to write up. Okay, here's an interesting one. How many games should a player have to play to be named MVP?
I would say out of an 82-game season, you would have to get over 60.
So 75% of the games, give or take? Okay.
Yeah.
The breakdown of the current players that were surveyed, 4 of them came up with the number 62, right where you were at.
Yeah.
3 of them said no minimum, no requirement.
Okay, 2 games?
Yeah, right, I guess.
10 games?
2 players said 42.
That's whack.
That's 1 over half.
That's basically you wanting to sit out the majority of the time and just put in work half of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
1 player said 82 games.
That's way, I don't think that's because this injury, that's
era.
Unrealistic. Injuries happen. You know, I mean, just little slight things, little ankles, there's little things that happen. I never had a major injury. I was blessed. I never had a major injury in my career, but I had a dislocated thumb, took me out about 6 games or 7. High ankle sprain took me out a couple of weeks. You just going up and landing on somebody's foot, there's so many things that happen in a game, man. But it's the dirty plays that kind of irk me about the league now. Like real dirt. Like they're hard fouls. There's a difference between a hard foul and a dirty foul. Like the foul that Brooks did against Gary Payton II, that's trash, stuff like that. But there are guys like or the ones where Kawhi Leonard, Zaza Pachulia, I think walks up under him. They change rules for that. But those are garbage plays.
One other player said 75 games, and the only way that I see 75 and 82 working is if the MVP doesn't
count just for the season,
for the regular season, right? You add it into the playoffs, because then you have those extra games to play. And here's the thing: the MVP is coming from a playoff team pretty much all the time, like essentially 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So you would think that wouldn't be as high a bar to clear.
Yeah, I agree.
And then here's this one. So besides yourself, is there a player in the league you would have liked to have seen win a ring for their legacy?
Yeah, I definitely would have liked to see Charles. I think Charles was deserving. Charles was really, really good, really dominant in his Phoenix years, a little bit in his Houston time. Definitely him. I would say Stockton and Malone. Just what they were to the game. The way that they played the game the right way. They were very fundamentally sound. I love that. Yeah. So those are a couple.
AI.
Yeah. He changed it. Yeah. I like the things that AI, I just think that they just didn't put enough around AI. He really just didn't have the type of teams that most people now, maybe people just didn't want to play with him, or maybe they just felt, that was what they needed, him and the rest. But he didn't really have much help when you really just look at it.
Right. The 3 answers that today's athletes gave were, I think, the 3 no-brainers from this era. Chris Paul.
Yeah. Okay. I can
Strikes me as kind of Dan Marino-esque.
Yeah.
Dame.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of AI-esque to some degree.
I love his loyalty, and that's why I would say for him, the fact that he could have left Portland a long time ago, but the fact that he stayed, and that shows a lot about somebody's character. And that goes back to him at Weber State. Just he was overlooked. They believed in him. He stayed. He went and did it, and so that was just ingrained in him. So I agree.
And then the other one is Russell Westbrook.
No, I don't care about that. I just don't. I don't think Russ, to me, and I'm going back to OKC. I think they could have won it. I just think he in some ways eliminated them from a championship. They could have won it if he would have just humbled himself and said, "KD, you are that guy. I'm the guy too, but you are that guy. You're 1A." If he would have just went 1A KD and then 1C James Harden, and they should have won. They should have won.
The one guy I would have said a couple years ago is Brad Beal, kind of on the Damian Lillard path in Washington. I think he's a good guy, but I just don't think he's been as good as Dame in Washington.
No chance.
No. So that's the only other guy, like I said, I might have added a couple of years ago, but right now it's Dame and Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think I could see that. They've been special
for sure. Good stuff. We'll wrap up on the block with the crossover. I don't know who from old school is in for sure. That means you get to stay tuned and figure out who that is when we come back to wrap up on the block after this.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? We serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're interested in a career in plumbing, heating, and air, come join our team where you'll get paid while training. No experience required. Enjoy great pay and benefits in a friendly environment. Call Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air at 4246818 or apply online at biggerstaffs.com.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out the old and in with the by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuff. Come out to Price Right Auto and get 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. CUA.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for research. You could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I just feel like people are not talking about enough the incomplete passing. This blows my mind.
Why does it blow your mind?
Because that's a strategy to the end of the game of either spiking the ball or finding to stop the clock.
Now you can't do it.
You can't just stop the clock. That's a part of football. It's always been a part of football.
Right.
You can't just.
You're
changing the end of games completely.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I don't think you have to stress that one too much. Don't even stress it. It won't happen.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you,
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
You've got a bona fide start in Keisei Tamanaga, and he has got kind of a personality and a game style that is going to attract attention. And then, of course, the Rudy type of ending that you would hope to see in Sam Hoiberg. Sometimes Hollywood couldn't write it any better than what we have right now.
Gritty over pretty, right? Gritted out, a tough win. Sam Hoiberg, pretty much ceiling, steal, and layup.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Breezy but mild today. We'll see a high of 54 under partly sunny skies. South winds could gust over 20 at times. Increasing cloud cover tonight with a low of 31. That is as good as we get tomorrow. We'll see falling temperatures, north winds gusting over 30, and areas of sleet and freezing drizzle. I'm meteorologist 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and the Ticket FM.
Hey, we're on a world tour. Hey, the Block and Old School. It's a world tour. Hey, maybe we need to do that. Maybe we need to just hit the road. That'd be kind of dope. But Kenny Wilhite joining us on the crossover, filling in for the old school guys of J and DP. But we love Kenny. Kenny, you come and join us each and every time. And you came with gifts.
Yes.
You came with gifts.
Yes, I had to take care of
Bearing
my guy.
gifts. Yes,
take care of my
yes.
guy.
And you see, Austin Orman has made the change and the adjustment to the gifts.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
I
not
tried
yet?
it on.
Oh,
You tried it on. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he tried it on.
Okay.
He wanted to
It
make sure
worked.
fit.
Okay. Kenny Wilhite. We got some things on the burner for you, man. You know, Sauterham and Textine tapped in. Some of them said they didn't like it. They liked it. They want more football. But Austin got a few questions, few things to throw out at you.
We got the college football expert here, guy that's been around
I
the
wouldn't
game.
say
Wait,
expert, but I've been around
we're
it.
calling you the expert.
I wouldn't say that.
But we are. So you have to deal with that title, whether you want it or not. With the clock, the rule changes coming to college football. The first one, no consecutive timeouts, makes sense.
Yes, I like that rule.
You don't see it a lot, but when you do, just drags on.
Yes. And it's disappointing because, I mean, most of the time it happens on offense. You're coming out of a timeout, and then you have to call another timeout because you're not ready. So, yeah.
The next one is no longer extending a first or third quarter for an untimed down if the quarter ends on a defensive penalty. You'll put it on the clock starting in the second and fourth quarter.
I agree with that too.
Okay, so the first two are pretty simple. Here's the next one then. The clock continues to run after the offense gains a first down, except inside of 2 minutes and a half, to make it more NFL style, where they don't stop it to spot it. You like that one?
Yep, speeds up the game. I love it.
Okay, and then here's the last one. The clock continues to run after an incomplete pass once the ball gets spotted.
That one I don't like.
Why not?
Because it's a stoppage of play because of the results of the play. So it should stay that way.
Would it change your mind if there was an exception put in there for spikes at the end of the game?
No. The play resulted in an incomplete pass. The clock should stop.
I'm with you. That's just the way football's been. That's how we know. It's how we've learned it. It doesn't seem like that aspect is broken.
No, it's not.
Let me throw this at you then. So obviously the XFL we've talked about is got underway. Some people are liking it. Some people are kind of loving it. We talked about with you that you love to see some former Huskers also out there. But something to me that I find interesting is two parts. The 3-point conversion. I think that's dope.
Yep.
I think if you're behind, you score a touchdown. Hey, let's make it 10 points instead of 7. It give you a chance. And then if I do it, and I'm down 20-some points, let's go for the 4th and 15. Try to get the ball back. I love that part of the game. What's your thought about maybe some addition? Do you think the purists of football, the NFL, would not allow something like that? But I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool, but I don't think NFL will ever do anything like that.
Yeah,
because they think they're the guy, the big man on campus. So I don't think they'll ever inherit some of the rules that XFL are using. But I actually like it.
I like it, bro.
I love it. It makes the game better. It makes it more competitive. And it makes it interesting. Like you said, you could be down 9 and you get that 3-point conversion. Now we're all good.
Yeah, it's a different type of game.
It's a different type of game. So the defense has to be ready for it.
Yeah. Do you okay, if there was an implementation of the because we know that onside kicks are that's like 95% chance that ain't happening.
Yes.
Yes. But do you think that 4th and 15 as a defensive back, as a defender, do you think 4th and 15 is enough, or do you think it should be maybe 4th and 20? Or when you're talking about retaining possession, do you think 4th and 15 is too small, or do you some people are saying 4th and 25? I think that's too much.
That's too much.
But
that's
what
4th and 15 is manageable.
You think that's good?
That's that's manageable.
I mean, it's hard enough.
It's hard enough, but it's manageable.
Okay. Yeah. What would make 4th and 15 from a defensive perspective make it more difficult? Like with coverages, like would that be a zone? Is that a quarter? Is that a cover 3 type of look that you feel that you can get the best coverage? Especially if you got rush. I mean, obviously if you got a pass rusher,
your coverage will be predicated on what personnel you get.
Okay.
If you get a team comes out in 4 wides, you cannot play cover 3.
For sure.
The threat of 4 verticals.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
You can play a quarter concept, or you can play a cover 2 concept, but that mic has to be in the deep middle of the field with the threat of 4 verticals.
Look at that. See, that's the type of stuff I like.
Who doesn't like it?
People
I mean,
don't know. I
free
love
football
football,
education
bro.
for you.
I love football. That's why when I, when me and Carolyn was married, when I would have sit downs and conversations with Dion, I would love to talk about football and coverages and stuff like that. That was the stuff I
because
loved.
it was part of you. You grew up playing football and basketball. A lot of guys won't take that. They just, if they play one sport, they're not going to be interested in another sport.
Man.
Like you were. You played both of them, so of course, your interest level will be high. Because you could have been a great safety. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah, I think that's what it would have been for me.
One last thing, Adrian Martinez drafted in the USFL today. Good level for Adrian.
That's a good opportunity for Adrian to get film. Really good opportunity for him to get film. What
do you think he could be a professional quarterback?
Yes,
yeah.
He has the tools.
He has the tools.
He just needs a shot. Injuries have hampered his development, but now he's going to have the opportunity to get film. And that's my guy.
Great stuff.
2 a.m. Congrats, brother. I'll text him in a little bit.
Yeah, man. That's us right there on the crossover. Kenny Wilhite joining us to give his take on some of the changes in college football, as well as some thoughts about potential NFL adjustments that would be good or not, or would they do it or would they not. But we're done here on Old School and on the block for today. Be safe. It's looking like it's going to be some inclement weather potentially coming in. You guys be safe out there. We're finishing up for the day, 2 to 4 tomorrow, whether we be by way of stream or Stricky in studio. I'm hot. I'm going for the champ is here tomorrow. We've got to get out of here. 93.7 The Ticket on the block. Peace. We're gone.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research